everybody, it's Courtney from the Order of the Planner Stencils, and one of my most requested videos is what stencils would you start out with if you were starting from scratch and working in a journal? So I put together this list of stencils, kind of a basic stencils of what I feel like I need when I am setting up my 2026 bullet journal. I kind of looked through the spreads that I was planning on doing and tried to include things that I would buy if I was purchasing for the first time. I'm going to take you through some of these and why I would do that. So the first one that I would do is a font set, whether that's an upper and a lowercase or just an uppercase you really like, an upper, a lowercase, and a number, just something that screams you that you'll be willing and want to use over and over. The one I would probably choose is this hand font set. There's an upper, a lowercase, and a numbers stencil. So lots of different options of fonts that you could do. We have an entire section of fonts that you can choose from. Like if you're a sports girly, we've got our varsity font, and we've just got a lot of different fonts that you can kind of choose from. Of course, obviously you can get the whole set. You can get just the uppercase, just the lowercase. The next one that I think is an essential is the calendar builder stencils. These stencils are stencils that I use to create my monthly calendar. This is one of my favorites. It gives it kind of a fun watercolor look if you use different types of inks to kind of blend them together and create fun colors. But we've got kind of some basic ones like our rounded box one, and some fun ones like the hearts or a little more squarish version of the brushed boxes. That stencil I just find super useful to build my calendar each month, and it's something I use in and out every month. So now the third stencil that I would absolutely recommend, I actually use it pretty much every week, is our large anti-stencil. It is one stencil. You can also grab two, which is what I use just to make it easy on myself. And I use these to block out the white space in my week while I'm stenciling around them. Might be a little bit me as a Swiftie talking, but I really love our bracelet builder stencil. It's got some boxes, some circles, some stars and hearts, and of course a very small alphabet. I use this in my planner to make my future log and my in the future log. It's also featured on my cover page. I would say the next stencil that I love using is our USA map stencil. Obviously I live in the USA. If you don't live in the USA, it might not be as useful. I use it to make a travel spread every year. When I'm traveling, you could use this as a background. I also use it to keep track of books that I read in each state each year. Like I said, like my travel map. The next stencil I'll use a lot is my playlist stencil. I use this to make a playlist every year, and then when things like the new Taylor Swift album comes out, I will take it and use it to review albums. I pair that with our music note stencil, which is another one that I love, and if you want a good like music pattern, that's a great one to grab. If you're a reader like myself, the next thing I would suggest is a bookish pattern. You can grab any of the ones we have. My favorite one currently is this kind of like two different directional one. I don't know why, it just scratches my brain in the right way, but we've got a lot to choose from, a variety of different patterns. And then if you want to add some embellishments and you're a fantasy girly, we have tons of dragons, and we've got lips for your romance readers, and you'll see those in a little bit. But I like to use my bookish patterns, not only my reading planner, but also in things like my reading tracker. And then of course you can always use it in your monthly spreads too. I would recommend one of our two-piece ransom note sets of stencils. With these stencils, you can kind of make that fun like variant of lettering. So like I said, we do have two different sets of them. You could choose which one you like, or of course, obviously grab both. We also have a number set of fun ransom note titles, like you can see that I use pretty frequently in my plan. Okay, the next one I would really suggest is a basic pattern or two. Now these are stencils that you can kind of use all year round. They're not really seasonal, they're not really specific, but they're things that you could kind of put in the background of any spread and get a diversified look. Now we've got tons of these to choose from, but I really like our crackled one. We've got this one. We've got our doodled chevrons, of course, checker boxes, Just a lot of different patterns that you can go through and find one that suits your vibe. I really love this script pattern stencil. I think, as you saw in that other one, I also have something like my coffee ring stencils or the coffee splatter stencils that you can add that kind of aging and distressed look. We love our buffalo plaid stencil. I use that, of course, in the winter with the classic red and black buffalo plaid. But I've done spring patterns as well as like a fun fall pattern. Kind of along that, I was talking about the first quarter holidays. That buffalo plaid one would absolutely work well for it. I'm thinking of things like that work well in winter. So the buffalo plaid, we have this great snowflake. I have several different snowflake patterns if this one isn't one of your favorites. But this one I really love using in the early winter to have some really pretty winter spreads. Here's another one of our snowflake stencils that I love. If none of those kind of fit your fancy, we have lots of different Valentine's ones, as well as several New Year's Eve type stencils that might be what you're looking for. As well as our last month of the first quarter, St. Patrick's Day. And then the last one that I would say is something I use regularly would be something for birthday. So I really love this large candle stencil, or like something like our balloon builder, my birthday and anniversary tracker. I use this for my birthday. I just think they're really fun and versatile stencils. Now, speaking of those last two, now is a great time to introduce you to our calendar builder stencil sets. This is the very first one I did. It's definitely the largest. This is the New Year's Day kit. This kit comes in this handy storage envelope. It also comes with 3 inking brushes, which are not shown at the moment. They are 3 of these black brushes. They'll obviously be clean ones. And what this kit comes with is 1 layout style stencil. And this is a stencil you can put down and you have your layout done. You could just flip it over and trace it each way. It also comes with these anti-stencils that you can use to cover up the areas that you're going to be writing in for your. In addition to that, this kit is chock full. It's got some icons for New Year's. And when I designed this, I definitely designed this with versatility in mind. So obviously, like champagne, you could use for bridal showers or any kind of toasts. We've got a little bit of confetti. We've got a mirror ball here you can use for any kind of celebrations or for the next Taylor Swift album. And then we talked about different patterns. This is a fun pattern to have. A party confetti one that you can use obviously for New Year's, but for any kind of celebrations. And then finally, this also includes 3-piece font stunt set. Our kits are, at their heart, is designed to give you everything you need to make one layout other than the ink. So completely cohesive New Year's spread. And then also you'll see when I start putting my bullet journal together for next year, I use that balloon stencils for lots of things. I love that font. The back, you can take these stencils and use these elements in other ways. And then lastly, like, I think personalizing your planner and making it yours is really important. So there's lots of different basic stencils that I still think you could have fun with like our doodles or our banners or our journaling basics. However, like, I also think the scraps are fun. If you're a sports fan, like, I love the pennants as like a generic, you can put your schedules in there. I really love our tour font stencil, or tour confetti stencil, which is in our eras section. I designed this to kind of look like the Taylor Swift confetti as it was falling in the eras tour, but obviously you can don't forget other Swifty fun things. If you're somebody that likes to do a lot of those round trackers, we've got one of those builders for you. If you love flowers, this is actually one of the stencils I use constantly. I showed you. And if you like traveling, we have tons of different travel stencils in our travel section. I use all of these when I am setting up my travel tracker. And of course on my various travels and my travel journal and my junk journal. I also really love this stencil that allows you to kind of get different edges on things. And of course, if you're a holiday girly, we've got tons of Christmas stuff that, as a Buckeye, I like to turn around and use during football season as well. Overall, I just think stencils are a really great way to extend your planner budget, get things that you can use over and over again in your planners and in other crafts. So if this is something that you're thinking about, the PBC sale this weekend, the Planner Boss Collective sale this weekend is a great time to check that off. My shop will be 30% off. And if you subscribe to our emails before Friday morning at 9 a.m., you'll get an email with a 35% off code that's good until 9 p.m. that night. So you can save a lot of money on our stencils. You can get your planner game underway. If you're following our soft launch 2026, it's a great time to pick up your stencils now. And follow along for more. I'll be doing lots of tutorials soon. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I hope you have a great night.